Alright, it's time for a week in review. Let's get this vlog going. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. This week started with some pretty good momentum. I worked on an animation that was shared on Patreon, and despite my horrid lack of knowledge, it turned out tolerably well. Though I did mess something up between animating the line art and then going back and animating the colored file. A bit of time was lost reanimating in Live 2D, but it wasn't too bad. I managed to stream some this week, and somehow the Denny's hat became a thing. It's probably best to not ask questions. Speaking of those streams, I ended up playing some Cobblemon nonsense with my friends. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of proud that I did so, because I'm gonna confess to you an issue that I struggle with often. I'm notorious for not playing games with others, due to not wanting to impose. Ironically, some other events from the week had me feeling kind of sidelined and unimportant already. But my amazing friends, Maud and David, both of whom you should go check out and support, they are 18+ channels, just giving you a heads up, they invited me to stream with them, and I didn't let my insecurity stop me. After spending some time with both of these amazing souls, I felt much better. So if either of you see this, I just want to say thanks. And I wubs you greatly. Despite the originally strong start to the week, I'm not gonna lie, I made a really big mistake on Wednesday. What horror, you may ask? I thought, oh hey, I've got this full day. I can script, record, and edit a total of 4 videos on a side project. No big deal. All varying in length from, 10 to 20 minutes. Easy. I was wrong, okay? I was wrong. Very wrong. So wrong. By the time I was done scripting 2 of them, I was already feeling it. I pushed through scripting 3, but the 4th one had to get paused. I tried really hard to push through it. I couldn't. I knew it was gonna turn out bad. I then recorded the 3 that I scripted, and between the background changes and dealing with props, I was so burnt out. I ended up not even touching the editing. Not even trying. Nope. Didn't even open up my editor. Not once. Unfortunately, I still lean towards having too much on my plate, so a task that I'm trying to sort out still is learning what's doable on a weekly basis, and what's doable perhaps on a longer term. I'm still deep in the weeds on this, but as I'll probably say many times, if I do ever come out on the other side, I will try to share anything I've learned. I was so burnt out that I was almost afraid I'd be a lost cause for our Bad Limeade Studio meeting on Thursday morning. But as it turns out, it was a highlight of the week, and we made so much progress on our story outline. The studio is a big part of why I struggled with burnout this week. I don't know how many of you in the audience have tried making your own semi-animated series, but if you've done any story or comic writing at all, you're no doubt familiar with how much is involved. I want to give it my heart and soul, but there's no room for that at my current capacity. So that makes getting things figured out of the utmost importance, because I've got big plans. Big plans. I know my brain well enough that I can't only think about the studio stuff either. Because as much as it's absolutely peak love for me and kind of the culmination of things I've wanted to do ever since I was a little bitty foxy, anything can lead to burnout when it's overdone. So, ideally, I'll balance the studio with my individual projects as my 2 main lines of focus, and side project number 2 will have to take more of a backseat than I was hoping. In a way, it still feels like I've got more than the 2 paths that I'm trying to maintain. Streaming, doing art, and making YouTube videos don't overlap as much as they could if I were doing things differently. I'm trying to overlap YouTube videos and art a bit more at least, and streaming was, for all intents and purposes, just a good way to connect with my community and friends this week. As I mentioned last week, was kind of the plan, and it seems to be working so far. So, we're getting there. Plus, I caught up on some much-needed Genshin story, and will likely spend the evening drawing very tasteful art of my new emo boys. Okay, thanks, bye. No crazy growth this week on any particular platform, but it was still a really valuable week in terms of what I learned as a creator. And as a person, genuinely learning to lean on their friends when they're down. My plans this weekend are to make a more interesting YouTube video besides just this vlog, and do some more comic stuff. I'll also be working on the promised video talking about our studio and what we're up to, which would have been a way better use of Wednesday than how I chose to spend it. Anyway, there's still a lot building up behind the scenes, and managing to get at least this video still has me feeling pretty optimistic. Oh, and I did work on some music as mentioned last week. Nothing is finalized, but I'll let the sample roll as we go into credits. I hope your week was amazing, and thank you for being here. I'll catch you on the next wave, chat. Later!